Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. Today's teaching is a very special one because it actually comes from one of you. A beautiful soul in our community wrote to me and said, I would love a more detailed video about grid work and missions for Monadic Twin Flames. So this video is my response and my gift to all of you who have been feeling the same pull. Because if one of you is asking the question, it usually means many of you are experiencing the same exact thing in your journey. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. Right now we are in the middle of such intense cosmic weather with the eclipse cycle building, the retrogrades pressing us inward, and the upcoming god and goddesses 9-9 portal opening collective frequencies is truly activating and opening collective frequency windows, and these energies always activate grid work. They stir up the separation phases, karmic collapse and the deep nervous system rewiring, all of which is directly into the mission of us Monadic Twin Flames. So in this video, I'm going to take you step by step through what grid work actually looks like, what grid work actually is, and why, as Monadic Twin Flames, we are uniquely coded for it, and how it connects to both your separation and your path into union. So by the end of this teaching, you will see that your love story is not just personal, it's planetary. So have you ever wondered why are you in a particular, for me it's always like that, I might be in a particular country and I'll be wondering why am I sent for work here? Like my 3D work would send me there, but also there's a multi-dimensional reason for it, grid work. So when someone hears grid work or mission work in the Monadic Twin Flame journey, it can really sound vague or even intimidating sometimes. But let's break this down into a real grounded clarity. So on the most basic level, grid work is about how twin flames interact with the Earth's energetic architecture. The planet has a natural energy grid, ley lines, vortexes, portals, which carry frequency streams. Every sacred site on Earth positioned on this grid forms that connection, you see. So as Monadic Twin Flames, when we incarnate, our shared fields becomes a living bridge that anchors coherence into these grids. So remember, as Monadic Twin Flames, we are not just a couple. We are more of a cosmic technology, all right? So that's why when we travel, like I was saying, I'm like, especially I remember when I was in Phuket, suddenly I was in the middle of the ocean, and when I was like scuba diving, I realized that I was like opening up portals. So it's like that, and whenever I'm near, certain grids in Europe or in the US, I suddenly feel these activations, and often they are in alignment with our journey itself. Either when we are traveling by ourselves or when we are traveling with our divine masculine. And you would have noticed how sometimes travel forms a big part of your journey as well, like you travel together with your DM during the initial stages, and then separation, there's a lot of solo travel, and often we mirror our divine masculine in the traveling too. So in my own experience, I've observed that a lot. So again, like when you're meditating, traveling, or even enter a new location, our monadic field interacts with the local grid. Sometimes we'll feel exhausted after visiting certain places. That's our field rewiring or clearing distortions from that land. So that's why grid work is not always glamorous. Sometimes it means sitting in your room holding frequency while Earth undergoes a shift. So that's why for some of you, you will say, oh, that you guys would tell me that you don't travel much. I'm like, where you are doing grid work. That's what I always say. So other times it means being pulled to travel, not for tourism, but because your presence there shifts timelines. This happens to me a lot. It still happens, My DM and I, we are drawn to certain places, and before union, I used to go on a lot of solo trips. They'll be multi-layered, sometimes it'll be a work assignment. and then I would also be doing grid work, conscious, subconsciously, really depending on our mission. So very quickly, as Monadic Twin Flames, we are split at the 13D cosmic 8, right? So meaning our connection runs deeper than the typical soul level twin flame split. This makes our joint energy field extremely powerful in stabilizing energy. So we anchor a level of coherence that single souls, no matter how advanced, may not be able to. So this is why missions are rarely about personal romance alone. It's about planetary coherence. Union between monadic counterparts creates a resonance that plugs into the earth grid, making ascension frequency stable and accessible for others. So your question may be, what do missions actually look like? All right. So let's start with frequency holding. So we may be guided into deep stillness, prayer, meditation. So what is happening is our field alone stabilizes the collective chaos. Sacred site activations. So in our journey, as Monadic Twin Flames, we are often pulled towards places like the popular ones, Egypt, Sedona, Mount Shasta, um, like certain places in Europe, Portugal, Spain, and in US, certain grids, and in Asia as well, Bali, Thailand, or even random locations when I was in Rovaniemi, there was this huge portal, stargate that I was seeing as well. And how certain things, certain places, they are not marked or known. Like for me, I often discover them um, based on, because I can see ley lines and grids as well. So sometimes you're not, sometimes it could be even a random location with hidden ley lines that can only be shown to our star seeds, depending on where we are from, and depending on our star seed lineage as well. So just being there anchors the third energy further. So that's why, always, if you're being called on a work trip, don't sulk. Often there is a reason for it as well. We are not only doing our 3D work, we are also being called by the Galactic Council to do some grid work. And it's often, you will know it. You will just have a knowing that, hey, I am in this location. I am in Norway for a reason, or I am in Iceland for a reason, or I am in the British Virgin Islands for a reason. Like there's always so often it happens a lot. I've noticed when I'm scuba diving, when I'm in the ocean, like in Croatia, there are a lot of hidden ley lines as well. And truly, I've noticed so much. And like I said, when we are there, we will just know. It's not specifically. I know many of you guys have always told me, hey, do like a location map on it. Well, let's see, if I'm guided to, I definitely will, based on my own personal experiences. So many places has got 9D, 10D portals. In India, there are a couple of them, in like Varanasi, the famous ones in Ganges, and then like really, like even in Poland, there was a stargate. When I was there, I managed to see one. So really, it's a lot of these stargates are hidden in plain sight. Like really, sometimes you might be like in the middle of the city, right smack in Prague, there are stargates, But again, the gates only reveal when we are energetically in alignment. All right. So collective healing. When the karmic wars, social unrest, or mass grief hit the collective, our nervous system absorbs part of the density and transmutes it. So I remember in 2004, when the tsunami hit Asia, I was very affected by it. I was 12 years old. So this can feel overwhelming, but it's part of our role to heal the collective. Another big part, missions will be teaching, transmitting. So that's why some of us Monadic Twin Flames are here to speak, write, heal, or guide others. Our words carry great frequencies because it comes directly from the monadic field. So how do you know you're doing it? Often you won't. Grid work work is subtle, but there are signs. Like I still remember I was canoeing. Um, I was canoeing in Thailand, and the water was very shallow, and I usually like to swim. I love to swim. The Mintakan in me, I love to swim everywhere, especially crystal clear waters. I love to swim. Even if it's not crystal clear, I'd love to swim. So I asked the guy in the boat, hey, can I? And then I literally went in. It looked like shallow water. I went in, and of course, I'm very good at threading water. So I immediately came up, but I realized that was great work because I switched something on. And then after that, there was a huge storm that followed, and I was like literally telling like Galactic Council, why are you sending me on very risky assignments? But again, we are only given assignments we can handle, because I'm a good swimmer, and I know I was able to. Same thing, Northern Lights as well. Like once, it's like literally when I was seeing the Northern Lights, my leg went into the snow, and because my phone dropped off when I got off the car, and I was like looking for my phone, and the tour guide was like, get out, you don't want to, you don't want to freeze. But that's when the lights came. So you see, stargates, grid work. So this is what I'm coming at. Sometimes we feel like we're not doing anything, or we feel like our travel is meaningless. But there's always a reason for it. Then I remember once I was in Budapest. Again, the Buddha castle there are several stargates there. Literally, I could just feel it. I could see it, and so many places. Again, like too many to count. Australia has got many portals and stargates, multidimensional. So a lot of these portals are 6D, 7D, 8D, 9D, these stargates. There are some 12D portals as well, 12D stargates as well. So often when you are in that vibration, you can see it. So sometimes, initial stages, you may just see the 6D stargates and portals. And then when you slowly start increasing your vibration, you'll be able to. So when you're ready, the gates will reveal to you. And you're just doing grid work, part of the mission work and all of it. And you're always, that's why there's so much mystery, all right? So dreams or astral experiences showing us you're working on planetary structures, light grids, or even repairing timeline is also part of the grid work as well. So that's why synchronicities like angel numbers, cosmic weather, eclipses, retrogrades aligning with our inner nudges, that is also doing grid work. And feeling pulled to a location without logical sense. Like I remember in Italy, at some places, I was just standing there. I was just looking at the scenery. I just couldn't leave. That's when I realized I'm doing grid work at that place, at that point. So a lot of missions can be solo. It could be with our divine master, it could be with our friends, with our family. But you see, the way galactic intelligence, divine intelligence organizes it is, it will always be part of a bigger plan. All right? So the core principle is mission over romance. So here's the hard truth. Our counterpart may not even be physically beside us while this mission unfolds. So as Monadic Twin Flames, we often run the mission before reunion. So for in my case, we were simultaneously traveling a lot. Like I was doing a lot of grid work in a certain part of the world. My DM was doing a lot of grid work. So we were both like traveling consistently. Our work required us to travel a lot as well. So, but there was always multi-layers. For me, I was more conscious of my grid work. My divine masculine at that time was not very conscious of his grid work. So a lot of so he was like covering like Japan and Korea and all of that, and I'm like in Europe, and so you can see, right, like how when we are split to two, how strong we become, right, as the divine feminine and the divine masculines. This is the divine feminine and divine masculine. So separation does not stop the work. That's what I want you guys to realize. In fact, the polarity between you may be what fuels the greed anchoring. The romance is real, but the mission is bigger than the marriage. The marriage is simply the human reflection of the energetic work we are already doing together on higher planes. So how to step into it consciously? Start with awareness. Notice where you're being pulled. Practice energetic hygiene, grounding, clearing, gardening, protecting your field. Because I know gardening really, really helps you to, clear your energies because we're working with Mother Earth directly, right? So build your nervous system capacity. Our body must learn to hold planetary current. That's why the assignments we're given are always starts in small doses. Even as a young child, I remember in Switzerland, I was doing some grid work. Like really, like there's never a random coincidence. What may have looked like a innocent family holiday with my parents and my brother was me actually doing grid work in the mountains. So you see, that's what I mean. Honor the non-linear path. Missions unfold through synchronicities, not checklists. So in short, grid work and missions for us Monadic Twin Flames mean our connection is directly wired into the Earth's energetic systems. You're not just in love. You are stabilizers of evolution itself. That's why the more you surrender to that, the clearer your mission becomes. All right? So, the mechanics of grid work. So, in the first part of my discourse, we spoke about what grid work is. But let's get more technical. So, energetic nodes, right? Energetic knots. Think of Earth like a living circuit board. All right? Every sacred site, vortex, or ley line intersection is a node. Monadic twin flames act as conductors carrying current between these nodes. And that's why, there's always a reason for this. So that's why take a moment the next time um, you are in a place or you are in a see it this way, like what are you feeling? All right. So another thing is also notice that when you're in a certain place, what vibration do you feel? So take a moment to reflect that. So you will realize that every single place you have gone, every single work you have done, there's always a connection to it. And that's why these energetic knots are very, very, very important. You see, that's why the more you realize Earth, is like a living circuit board, everything is energy, everything starts to make sense. So even if you may feel like you're not traveling so much, you are positioned, born in a certain place for that very reasons. That's why as Monadic Twin Flames, we are conductors, you know. And that's why in some cases, we may be like your divine masculine might be in a certain country, you may be in a certain country. It's like we're carrying the current, between the circuit. So secondly, the third energy current. Sorry about that, guys. I needed to quickly, look at an email that came. So anyway, third energy current. When our monadic field activates, it doesn't just circulate between you and your counterpart. It runs like a spiral. So it's not only circulating between me and my divine masculine. It runs like a spiral, moving through you and into the land you stand on. So literally visualize that. That current restores coherence in the grid. So dimensional alignment. Grid work is multi-layered, multi-dimensional. Some days you'll be working on physical locations, like the locations I mentioned earlier, grounding our energy at a site. Other days we'll be pulled into dream time or astral planes, working on 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, 9D, or even 13D structures of the Earth's template. This is why many monadic twin flames always report exhaustion, dizziness, or cosmic hangovers. I love to call it cosmic hangovers because our body is learning to hold currents beyond the normal human template. That's why if we visit a certain country, we are totally out because of the grid work we are doing. So here's where it gets real. Grid work isn't all light and beauty. challenges? Energetic overload. Our body can feel like it's burning out. That's why sometimes after traveling to a few countries, we may feel a burnout. Nervous system crashes, insomnia, or sleeping way too much, heart palpitations, all are signs you have run too much current without grounding. Secondly, karmic interference. Because monadic twin flames, we hold such a high field. Sometimes karmic connections show up to test our ability to stay stable. This is why toxic friendships or karmic partners or family resistance flare up when you step into mission. Thirdly, illusion of separation. Many of us divine feminine think, if it's not here, I can't do the mission. Not true at all. From my experience, lot of the work I did was before getting into stable physical union with my DM. Because the mission often starts before union, because I'm still flame, right? You're already running the current, even if our divine masculine resists or hides. So, grid work and the path to union. Here's the deeper truth. Grid work itself is what makes union possible. When the earth grid stabilizes, our nervous system stabilizes. When our nervous system stabilizes, our monadic field can harmonize without collapse. And when our field harmonizes, our divine masculine feels the pull, not from words, but from resonance. This is why so many unions align with eclipses, solstices, or retrogrades. Like I had my union, you know, during a retrograde too. See, cosmic weather and grid shifts literally open windows for monadic harmonization. And how does our divine masculine feel all of this? Even if he doesn't understand grid work, our divine masculine feels the pressure. He may suddenly feel restless or unable to stay in a situation. Example, category 1 with the karmic, or category 2 with toxic friends, or people who are just causing so much noise in the third energy field. He may feel an unexplainable urge to move, relocate, or travel. Certain places might just be like example, if his work is asking him to move to like Korea, for example, and no, he just wouldn't be able to handle it. So he might even resign or quit because his work, 3D work, has set a new requirement. And because of that, he may even lash out at you because subconsciously he knows your field is pulling him into mission readiness. So he may have quit his job, he may have rejected his 3D work that is making him move to Korea, for example, but he will end up going to Bali, he might end up going to Vietnam, he might end up going to Thailand, or he might end up going to Portugal or Spain, or he might be going to. So, that during that period where he decided to reset, he's actually doing grid work. You see how the galaxies work, you see how galactic intelligence works, spiritual intelligence works. So on a surface level, our divine masculine wouldn't understand that he's doing grid work, but he will feel the pressure. So that's why, if he might quit the job, he might, category 1, he might just leave the relationship, category 2, quitting the job, or like just leaving what he feels stagnant. So, but often it's all connected. So that's why never catch your divine masculine at the wrong time. always practice that, guys. All right. So practical steps for us divine feminines. If you're being called into grid work, listen to your nudges. If you feel drawn to a place, a ritual, or meditation, it's probably mission related. Protect your field. Use shields, grounding exercises, and energetic hygiene daily. Don't wait for your beloved divine masculine. We are already our divine masculine's divine wife. Why? We don't have to wait. Wives don't wait. Only girlfriends do. So our part of the mission activates first. His part, our divine masculine's part, unfolds when he feels the coherence we have anchored. So we are kind of like setting the foundation, you see. You can record your activations. Journaling or tracking your mission helps you see patterns, often aligning with astrology, portals, or collective events. And also, when you get into union, you can talk about it to your divine masculine directly. Hey, I was in Germany during this period, and you were in Poland, for example, or you know, I was in this place and you were in that place. It will all make sense. Even before you are meeting, grid work is already happening. Like before I met my DM in the physical, we were in Germany at the same time. You see, like a few years prior to meeting in the physical. So you see, it's like sometimes, and this happens a lot, like it's one of those that you may be in the same, but you don't know kind of thing. So in essence, grid work is not a side mission. It is the very architecture uh, that pulls monadic twin flames into coherence and union. So the romance is just the reflection. The mission is the real story. So that's why the final part, I wanted to talk about how, grid work, when we activate our grid work, we are not only stabilizing, sorry about that, guys, throat chakra, throat chakra issues, not throat chakra issues. What I meant was, the throat chakra is trying, my throat chakra is trying my best to talk to you guys about it. That's what I meant. Always, I remember there was one point, probably if you look at my old videos, there was like a whole period I couldn't stop coughing. Like my voice was totally out. But I was still doing my weekly lives. All God's grace, of course. Anyway, back to this. Why grid work triggers karmic collapses? So when you activate grid work, you not only stabilize Earth's template, you're destabilizing false templates. That means category 1, karmic partners might suddenly cling harder or lash out. It always signifies the break. So in category 1, with certain clients, suddenly, the DM may rush into a marriage and only to get out of the marriage like within 6 weeks, for example, and often there will be lashing out from the karmic partner. So the karmic partner itself is like getting rid of you. See what I mean? Family dynamics may suddenly feel heavier or more controlling. Our divine masculines may retreat, shut down, or collapse into shame, total shame. Why? Because our frequency is collapsing entire timelines that were built on distortion. So karmic contracts can't hold when the grid shifts. So everything false will either crumble or resist. And that resistance often shows up as conflict in 3D. This is why many divine feminines feel punished when we step into mission. Suddenly life gets more chaotic, but in truth, we are not failing, we are succeeding. The collapse is proof that grid work is working. So remember, separation is never wasted time. It's not wasted time. It is the mission. The most understood part of the monadic journey is separation. Often as divine feminines, we think when he comes back, the mission will start. No, not at all. I can vouch from my own experience. The mission starts even before. It starts when we are born on earth. Like it starts like forever. But here's the reality. Our nervous system is the training ground. During separation, we are learning to hold third energy current without our divine masculine's physical presence. Our divine masculine is in silent activation. He feels the frequency pressure and is forced to face karmic illusions. See what I mean? So it could be category 1, it could be literal karmic partner, or category 2, it could be like false friends, toxic friends. People who are just trying to like pull him back into the illusion, right? So the grids require polarity. Sometimes the two of us must, like the two of you must stand apart physically so the field has enough tension to rewire Earth structure. So that's why, in my own example, like when I'm in Europe, my DM is in Asia, when we were in separation, can you see the polarity? The grids require polarity. That's why, let me repeat this again. That's why sometimes, as the divine feminine and the divine masculine, we must stand apart physically so the field has enough tension to rewire Earth's structure. So instead of seeing separation as delay, see it as the engine room of mission. It's when most of the invisible work is actually happening. So, this brings us, how do planetary grids mirror the internal masculine feminine grid? So the earth grid and your own inner union are not separate. They reflect each other. Ley lines equate to our nervous system. The pathways of earth mirror the channels of energy in our own body. So if you feel blocked, earth often feels blocked in the same way. Vortexes equates to our chakras. Just as sacred sites hold massive vortex energy, our chakras open or close depending on the work we are doing. Grid fractures equates to inner split. So the separation between masculine and feminine within you mirrors the planetary distortion. Healing ourselves heals the land, and healing the land heals ourselves. See how it's all connected? This is why you often feel different after a big astrological event or even after visiting a sacred site. The earth shifts are directly entangled with your monadic field. So let's look at the bigger picture, right? Union through mission. Here's the most important takeaway in today's discourse. Union isn't just the goal, it is the byproduct of mission. As you hold frequency in your body, you become stable enough to meet your divine masculine without collapsing. As our divine masculine faces karmic collapse, he becomes stable enough to return to us. So as the planetary grids reweave, the monadic field finally has a landing strip to anchor into physical union. That's why union is not a personal reward. If you're thinking that, please scrap that out of your mind. It is the natural outcome of the larger mission when the grids, inner and outer, reach coherence. So if you are a monadic twin flame, remember, your love story isn't small. It's written into Earth's architecture itself. Every collapse, every silence, every mission nudge is part of aligning not just your divine marriage, but the planet's ascension. So thank you so much, beautiful souls, for staying with me through this deep teaching. I realize it's about 32 minutes. Usually I try to cut my discourses to 20, but this is a much more in-depth. I go with the flow, right? So deep teaching on grid work and missions for monadic twin flames. So I'm happy that you have reached this point. I hope this gave you clarity on why your journey is so much bigger than romance in itself. Of course there's romance. I'm not saying there isn't romance, but romance in itself is not the 3D way. It's multidimensional. It's like being the divine wife and your divine masculine being the divine husband. That's where the romance stands. And why, even in separation, you're still fulfilling a planetary role. Remember, every collapse, every silence, every activation is part of the mission. So, again, guys, if this resonated with you and you feel called to go deeper into your own twin flame path, you can book a first-time twin flame psyche guidance session with me. I'll tune directly into your connection and help you understand your personal mission codes. The link is in the description below. And for those of you who are ready to step into advanced healing, I would highly recommend soul realignment. It's a 6-week process, but really clears out everything that has been blocking you and restricting you. I also offer monadic twin flame star healing, so including activations for third energy expansion, sacred anger transmutation, and anchoring the divine union field within, even if you are in separation. And you can check out my website, a whole bunch of, so some of the newer healings, check them out as well, the emerald and sapphire healing, the heart recalibration. So really, I highly, highly, highly recommend them. And again, don't forget to take a moment to reflect, and share this with anyone on the monadic twin flame journey whom you feel may need clarity today. And then most importantly, let me know in the comments below if you felt being pulled into grid work, if you noticed exhaustion, location pulls, or karmic collapses where portals open. Share your experience so that others know they are not alone. So until next time, remember, our reunion is not just about us. It's about planet Earth. It's about Mother Earth. It's about Gaia, and our love is part of a far greater mission than you can yet imagine. All right, with that, see you all again.